When you have a podcast, it allows you the opportunity to find out what it is that you're really passionate about. And for me, talking about social media all the time, I realized that I love social media, but I don't want to spend my life on it. And how could I be smarter with it? And it was because I had the podcast.
Most hosts never achieve the results they hoped for. They're falling short on listenership and monetization, meaning their message isn't being heard and their show ends up costing them money. This podcast was created to help you grow your listenership and make money while you're at it. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Adam Adams.
Hey, podcaster, there is a trick that you can use in order to get more results when you're posting on social in order to grow your podcast. And Katie Brinkley is on the podcast today. We're going to be talking about those 4 things that you can be doing when you post on social media. That way you get more results with less effort. So let's welcome to the show, Katie Brinkley. Katie's got a podcast called Rocky Mountain Marketing. That link is down in the show notes. Her bio, if you'd like to read her bio, just scroll down. It's down in the show notes. Also, the link to her company website, Next Step Social. She helps people with social media. That's down in the show notes as well. So you can connect with her on social, on her podcast, or through her website down below. With that in mind, Katie, you've done like nearly 400 episodes on your podcast as we are recording. How the heck did you do that?
Oh man, I think that one of the biggest things for podcasters is the consistency. Out of my entire business, Adam, the podcast is the thing that I have never missed. And it's the one thing that I look forward to every week.
Now it goes 2 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'm curious if it's always been that. Did you start out irregular in the very beginning? Was it always 2 days? Did you go from 1 to 2 or how did that transfer?
Yeah, so when I first started my show, I was just once a week and I was doing everything. I was editing it, I was doing the whole shebang. And so it was a lot of work. Once I really looked at my data, looked at what episodes did the best, it surprised me. And so I was like, man, I don't want to get rid of all my guest episodes. I love those episodes, but it seems like my audience really likes my solo episodes. And I have a team now. What if I recorded more? And that was, I say this a lot, but that was what saved my podcast. It was by recording more episodes and just remaining super consistent to it.
Yeah. So how long did you go for 1 episode a week?
For 3 years.
Okay. And how long have you been now going for 2 episodes a week?
I'm in my 2nd year of 2 episodes a week.
Sweet. And if I'm a listener right now and I'm hearing that you upgraded to 2 a week, should I also be thinking that I need to be doing multiple episodes a week, or what should I be thinking?
Yeah, I mean, look at what your data says. I think that for me, I had the time and I knew I could remain consistent with it, but look to see what episodes do the best. My Thursday episodes are like 10 minutes long and it's just me. And it's great because then if people have more time, they can keep listening to more episodes of Rocky Mountain Marketing. But if they don't have enough time, then hey, here's 10 minutes, help you get better, help you learn something new.
Okay, so it sounds like it's half and half. Like one of those, maybe Tuesdays always an interview and Thursdays always a solo. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay, so with that in mind, when you do interviews, is it longer than 10 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, my Tuesday episodes are around 30 minutes long.
Okay. Is there a reason why you picked 30 minutes instead of like 7 hours or 5 minutes?
That sounds like a nightmare. Like I have a business to run, Adam. Jeez. No, that really is it. For me, when I used to work at the Rockies, so I used to work for the Rockies TV station, and my commute was around 30 minutes each way. And so I looked up a bunch of stats, and this was again before COVID when everyone had the opportunity to start working from home. But it was one of the things where I wanted to look and see what is the average commute time, how long are people actually listening to shows, and how much time do I have that I can remain consistent to? Man, I feel like we should just rename this episode, Adam. The consistency episode.
Okay. So we do need to talk about social, don't we?
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
So
like, it's
you're a social media strategist. Tell us just who do you help and what do you help us with? We will get into these 4 things that we need to do on social to grow our podcast, but I want to just hear who's your avatar and how do you serve them?
yeah. So we elevate CEOs to become thought leaders in their industry. So we take lawyers and make them the go-to lawyer for divorce in their area. We help people become the best real estate agent in their area by launching books and creating memberships and creating different ways of having revenue come in and build out the thought leadership. I think that with COVID, one of the things we really realized and learned was that we want to have a face to do business with, right? We want to know who we're buying from. Does this person align with me? What is this business really all about? And so we take the CEO and turn them into the spokesperson.
Okay, good stuff. Now, tell me, give me the background of these 4 steps and why it's not 5 or 3 steps.
Yeah, it's one of the things where I have a social media agency, but I'm a business owner first, and I don't have all day to spend on social media. There's so many different social media platforms out there. There's so many, different opportunities for showing up, and whether it's short form video or long form video or a podcast or a blog or an email. And if we're creating all this different types of content, how are we going to have time to actually run our business? And so I looked at, again, the data, kind of what I did when I decided to do another episode every week for my show, and said, man, if I just did the things that worked for this type of end goal, what would happen? And I looked at all the social platforms. I looked at what was working on all of them, what was not working on them, and how could I do as little as possible and get people to buy from me or get people to download my podcast or whatever my end goal was. And that's where the 4-post strategy was born.
All right. So what are these 4 things and how do we use them?
Yeah, so it's called the 4-post strategy, and or the awareness to action strategy, and it depends on which social media platform you're on. I know that I'm Metricool, my favorite social media scheduler. I love it. I love Metricool, and it's super easy to just create a piece of content and put it out everywhere. But if you're putting it everywhere, who are you talking to? And how do you show up so that you're not white noise? And so that's where the 4-post strategy comes in. You focus in on maybe 2 platforms where you are getting the most bang for your buck and knock it out of the park from there. So let's just say LinkedIn is one of your platforms. There's a different way of getting more reach on LinkedIn, and it's a different way of getting more reach than it is on Instagram, which is a different way from getting more reach on Facebook. And how can you show up and get as much awareness around your topic as possible? And it's by showing up with that most reach strategy for your very first post. So the very first post should be one that's making people problem aware for whatever it is that you want to talk about for the rest of the week. So if you have podcasts, you want people to listen to this podcast episode, that's your end goal. How are you going to get the right people seeing the rest of your content for the week? And that is with the awareness post, where, again, creating that unpopular opinion or asking a question, sharing a statistic. This post can probably take you 15 seconds. On LinkedIn, it might be a poll. So how often would you say you spend on social media every week? An hour, 5 hours, or 0? I'm never on social media, whatever you want to say. That's your post. It has nothing to do with the podcast. You're just asking people a question or getting the right people to engage with it. So that's the awareness post.
How do we know with the awareness post? How do we know what to ask? So you mentioned, how often do you spend, how much time do you spend on social? And that won't work for everybody. We've got an attorney listening. We've got a doctor listening. We've got a real estate coach listening. We've got a health coach listening. How would they know how to go about even figuring out the first post?
Yeah, so it's awesome because if you're recording a podcast, you can figure out what the topic is of the podcast. So again, like we want people. So Adam, let's just pretend that we're doing this for you. What are you working on right now? Do you want more podcast clients? Like what are some things that you want right now?
Okay. More podcast clients.
Okay, cool. And what are your main social media platforms that you post on?
Facebook is the top.
Yeah, I know. I see all your stuff on Facebook. You kill it. Okay, so you're on Facebook and you want some more podcast clients. You're going to use the content that we talk about from this podcast to get more podcast clients. And how are you going to do that is by getting the right people raising their hands. So you could say, here's your post. How many of you have a podcast? Or who here has a podcast? Well, that's it. It's just those Facebook, different colored backgrounds with a sentence. That's your post. And now you're getting all these people, the right people, commenting on your post. So the algorithm says, oh, these people really like what Adam's talking about. So with your next post, the elaboration post, they're going to see that post as well because they just engaged with your awareness post. So your next post is going to be your elaboration. And maybe you take, thank goodness for AI, you can take in our transcript and say, what are 4 things that most podcasters are messing up with their podcast production, and drop in our episode. Now you can have a long form piece of content. Maybe it's, 400 words with a picture, or maybe it's just the words on Facebook, or you could even go live and talk about it. So that'll be your elaboration post. On Instagram, it could be a carousel. On LinkedIn, it could be a LinkedIn newsletter. So your elaboration post is saying, okay, now that I know who I'm talking to, I'm going to drop in this transcript from my podcast and educate them, show them how smart I am and how they can trust me because I have the solution to their problem. You're not asking them to buy from you yet. So we've done the awareness, we've done the elaboration. The third post is the community post. How have you overcome this problem? How have you helped a client? Share. How many people have you worked with, Adam? Like hundreds?
Maybe 150, 140.
Okay, so I'm sure you have hundreds of testimonials. So you could take a testimonial and say and just be like, one of the biggest struggles that Katie was facing was trying to remain consistent with her podcast and doing all the editing. It wasn't until she learned that blah, 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 blah. And I loved how we were able to help transform her entire strategy, whatever. You can share a customer's journey, how you overcame it, whatever. But this showcases that, hey, people online, I've helped people like you. It allows them to see themselves through either your shoes or your client's shoes.
Can I interrupt? Because so step 1 or post 1 was the helping
awareness.
People get aware of the problem. Post 2 is to elaborate on the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And post 3, you called it a community post. But it sounds a lot like a social proof post where you're getting the customer journey or other type of social proof. Can you go into more detail on the third one and make sure that I don't have it misunderstood?
Yeah. So it can, like I said, it can be a testimonial. It can share how you helped somebody overcome the problem or how you overcame it. So, you could share my story that I shared at the beginning of today's episode about, remaining consistent was the hardest part of my show. But after I looked at the data, once I had the time, because I wasn't spending hours editing my 30-minute podcast and creating all the assets for it, I was actually able to go in and look at the data. And I found that X, Y, and Z happened. You can share your own story as well. And I've shared stuff about, I recently did a post on social media with Gabriel Landeskog coming back for the Colorado Avalanche and relate it back to business ownership. But I put someone else's story so that it made it relatable, and people were the right people were reading it and saying, oh, I see myself in what Katie's saying here.
Awesome. I love it. Number 4.
Last but not least. Yeah, the action
last
post.
but not least.
We haven't told anyone online that there's this amazing podcast episode that they should listen to yet. So this is where you have the opportunity to ask people to leave social media to go one step further with you. Whether it be listen to the podcast, whether it be sign up to work with you, whether it's to get on your email list, join your webinar, whatever. I don't care what it is. But this is where you have the opportunity to say, If you've been struggling with trying to remain consistent and you're not doing these 4 things, I have the opportunity for 3 more clients. Comment, help me below, and I would love to get in touch with you. Or comment podcast below and I'll send you the link to the show.
I have a question.
Yeah, I love it.
And the listener probably needs to hear it.
Okay.
So you're talking about in the 4th step, which I'm going to get the name again from you so I can make really good notes. Action. So on there, you talk about, comment below.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm curious about is most people that I know who want to go big on social media, they put the link in the post. Or if they don't
putting the link in the post.
If they don't put it literally in the post, then they will say, the link is in the comments below.
That's better than in the post.
Talk to us about why not.
Exactly if you notice, the other 3 posts are not asking people to leave social media. There's no links involved. It's all value driven. Stay on the platform. Anytime you have a link in the caption, you're going to be kind of dinged by the algorithm. You're going to be put lower in the algorithm than anyone else. And so if you put it in the comments, it's a better spot for it. I like saying to comment something below so that you can have if I say comment podcast below and Adam, you comment podcast, you've given the publics that I have permission to slide into your DMs. So it's not weird for me to show up there and have a one-on-one conversation with you. And especially for podcasters, if you have a podcast, isn't it kind of cool to know who's on the other end of the speaker? I mean, we don't know who's listening. So how cool is it to be like, oh, Adam, you listened to the episode with Katie. What did you think? Is Katie full of it? Or, oh, what was your biggest takeaway? Have you been listening to the show for a while? Now you have the opportunity to actually have a conversation with a listener or with an ideal client. So by asking people to comment something, it gives you permission to go into their DMs and have a deeper conversation with them.
So when you go into the DM and have that start that new conversation with the person who kind of raised their hand,
mm-hmm.
You mentioned that you gave us like 3 different versions. Like, hey, how long you've been thinking about doing this? Hey, I noticed that you did this. What are you looking for? Or within this realm, what are your biggest 3 goals or something like that? You gave us a couple of options. What I'm quite curious about is for the listener who's hearing the 4th post, do we queue up one thing that we think is like the best ever, and then we just copy and paste it and give it to all 100 people that raised their hand? Or do we want it to be more personal? Do we want it to be where...
It depends what the ask is.
I guess answer this part. Should it be copy and paste? One thing, copy and paste to everybody? Or do we need multiple versions?
I think that you can copy and paste some things. It depends. I copy and paste stuff. I use different tools. Like I love GroupTrack for Facebook. It's a great CRM DM automation. Like, okay, if you comment podcast, then here you go. And then you can set up different sequences to follow up with people. But there's going to be a time where you need to have an actual person going in there and talking. And it really just depends on what the ask is. If you want to talk to people, then talk to them. Like, don't make it copy and pasteable, because you'd be shocked as to how many people, if you're doing these DM conversations, might say like, I've been following you for years. I didn't even know that you did XYZ, or, how cool that blah, blah, blah. Like, you never know if you just actually talk to someone.
One of the reasons why I ask is because I've noticed on different social media platforms, one is one that most people don't think of as a social media platform where you can do DMs, and it's called meetup.com. So in Meetup, if you try to do just 2 posts, just 2 comments to a couple different people, they will automatically flag it if it has the same words. And if you do it with enough people on Facebook, or at least this used to be the case. That's one of the reasons why I asked you. It used to be the case on Facebook that if you send a copy and paste to 10 people in a row, I think 10 was the number, they'll automatically flag you. I've had my account be like closed down for a certain amount of days or weeks, which was quite frustrating because I was in the
Yeah.
middle of
Yeah,
doing
when you're in the
this.
middle of launch, it's a business
Yeah.
tool. Yeah, for sure.
So the reason that I say that is I've tweaked things a little bit, and we end up doing, now we can just use ChatGPT for it. But what we used to do is just write different versions. So I have my team make the first post, like the first comment, and they give it to ChatGPT and they say, I want 6 versions of this. So
Mhm.
it might be, for example, I'm commenting on your comments, all the comments that might come into Facebook. And people are like, yeah, I'd love the link or whatever they're asking for.
Mhm.
I'd love the link. And then we'll create 6 different ways of saying it. So to the first person, we say, great, I'll get you that link sent. Do you want me to email it or send it to you in the DMs?
Yep.
The next option is, cool, I can PM that to you right now, or would you rather me send it to you a different way? So
Yeah.
it all means the same thing. One says
Yep.
private message, one says PM, one says DM, one says, whatever, direct message. And we've added this other thing just to ensure that we don't get blocked at all. So whenever we create these 6 options, it says something like insert. It has literally parentheses and it says insert personalized thing here. So
Mhm.
the reply would be, cool, I'll get you that link or whatever. Congratulations on the new car.
All right, so
Something
are
like
you
that.
sending all these manually?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Do you have a different
love
way?
yeah,
I want to hear.
GroupTrack. GroupTrack is it, man. And
All right.
it'll populate different responses. It spaces them out so that they don't all send at
Group
once.
track.
GroupTrack CRM, yep. Jenna is the CEO of it, and she even has like a free Facebook group where she tells people and teaches people how to like respond to things so that they don't get dinged. I'm not affiliated with them. I just use them. I love the tool. It's called GroupTrack, specifically for Facebook and Instagram. LinkedIn is coming, but it helps you set up these automations so that you can respond to people, and then it moves them into different segments of your CRM. Like, okay, this person's commented a lot, but they've never had a DM conversation. So stuff like that. It's a social CRM. It's amazing. It automates all of it, and it does it like spaces out all of the sending so that you don't get dinged. And so like it spaces time wise. Like,
What's
okay,
the
30 seconds.
website for Jenna's company so we can have it in the show notes as a resource for our listener?
Yeah. GroupTrackCRM.com.
Okay. GroupTrack
Yep. And
CRM.com.
yep.
Cool.
Jenna Larson, she has a free Facebook group. Check it out. And yeah, GroupTrack CRM. It DM inbox organization. You can do everything through GroupTrack. It's a Chrome extension. Yeah, absolutely love it.
And it's what? It's AI and it just knows what to say.
Yeah, you set up different pipelines.
You're gonna save me so much money because
I know I
we
am.
do this, and I mean my people are making like $450 in the Philippines
Yeah.
that are doing it an hour, so it's not like insane money, but if we can automate this, then I can move them onto something else.
Well, for real, you can automate this and then move them onto someone else. But it's really next level because it's a CRM for social. Like I said, like you can see how many people are commenting like, oh, Katie comments on my posts all the time. Like, what does Katie do? Like, is she an ideal client? Like, let's go ahead and send her a message. And then you can start the DM automation. Like it's phenomenal tool. Like I said, it's a Chrome extension. Jenna Larson, she has a free Facebook group. Check it out. Get her on the show to talk about it. But yeah, it's a great tool. I love GroupTrack.
Please make an intro. That'd be great. So let me go through the 4-post strategy, which is also called awareness to action. Awareness is the first of 4 posts. Action is the last of 4 posts. So we're talking about these 4 things that you can do. The first is making people aware of the problem. So I almost said Jenna. Katie said that this is what we were talking about this week. So it could be one of the episodes of your podcast. And for example, I just interviewed Katie right now. And if I've got time, I can go and start getting people excited about whatever this content is. And my fourth thing later will be check out the episode, listen to it, and get that value. Okay,
Mhm.
but the first one, make them aware of the problem. The second one is elaborate on the problem. Some people say, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, Katie, but it's almost like rubbing salt in a wound. It's like now that they have the problem, they understand the problem, you can show them, hey, I get it. I know what it feels like. I've been there before. There is a way out. But it's almost like you have to allow them to feel the pain of the thing. And it sounds like maybe number two has an element of that. Do you
Yeah.
disagree with that?
Yeah,
Does it?
it's showing yourself as the thought leader.
Okay.
Like, "Hey, I can help you. Like, look at here's all this value, here's all this way of continuing to learn, and I'm giving this to you for free."
Okay. But you get that post. One of the easier ways to find out what to do in that post is you spend a little bit of time with perhaps AI, or you could just ask yourself, what are the four things that most of this person struggles with? So if you're helping people lose weight, what are the four main issues about having too much body fat? Or if you're helping somebody start a podcast, it's like, what are the four issues of business owners without a thought leadership platform? Or whatever it is that you're doing. You're the attorney helping people get divorced. What's the hardest part of divorce? Give me those, and ChatGPT can spit out those, and then that can be incorporated in your post. Third, you do what you called a community post, which can be, and I've got a lot of notes here, it could be a testimonial from someone else. It could be how I overcame it, so your own story. It could be a case study, maybe perhaps of just anyone out there, or it could be one of your clients. So, for example, if you're brand new, you've never done, this is your newest company and you haven't had a client yet, that case study might be, hey, I know this guy. He went through this. This is how he got over it. This is where he is now. That's a case study. You never have to say that he's a client. You shouldn't lie about that, but you could perhaps do a case study of your own people or someone that you know. You could talk about a customer's journey, and essentially it is social proof. So this community post is letting people know that there is a way through this. There's a way to fix those four things that hold them back. And the fourth last thing for the post is an action post. And the word action is capitalized, underlined, circled in red, because you want that person to take action, or you want that person to engage on your post by asking them just this simple thing that Katie shared, which instead of giving you the link, it's asking them to comment below. Hey, let me know podcast. Let me know health. Let me know divorce down in the comments. I'm sure everybody would comment on someone's post about their divorce. But yeah, there's a few ideas. Katie, now that we see the four things, I want you to share with the listener, why does this system work compared to another system?
You're getting the right people raising their hands. You're getting the right people that want to do business with you, the right people that want to listen to your show, instead of just hoping that some video clip of your podcast or whatever goes viral and then you're going to get all these new downloads. You're going to get the right people that actually are saying, oh, okay, yeah, you're getting people to stop the scroll. The last thing we need is more white noise. So how can you get the right people to stop their scroll and say, oh, what? It's like she's talking to me. And it's by doing this strategy and knowing exactly what your end objective is and who it is that you're talking to. We've seen people get an 1,100% increase in engagements and, in impressions, and then 250% increase in engagements, more downloads. I mean, it's insane when you go in and actually just say, okay, why am I posting this and why should people care? How much of a difference it makes.
Awesome. I love it. So how else we're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, I want to know, how else are you capitalizing with your podcast or helping your podcast grow, whether it's growing the podcast itself or the business? And then we'll get a couple of tips. We'll be right back. Hey, my friend, as you know, this episode is sponsored by my company, GrowYourShow.com. We want you to be able to have the best tools at your disposal without costing you a whole arm and a leg. So right now you can get a free list of vetted equipment that like mics, mixers, webcams, sound treatment, editing software, everything that you need. I created the whole PDF with direct purchase links just to save you time and money, to help it be more convenient for you. So this free PDF will help you skip all the guesswork. If it's on there, it's vetted and approved by yours truly. And if it's not on there, it's probably not worth the money. So go ahead and get yours at growyourshow.com/PDF. Let's get back into the show. We are back with Katie Brinkley from Rocky Mountain Marketing Podcast. Her bio, her links, her social, her website to Next Step Social, all that's down in the show notes. Go ahead and connect with her there. And before the break, we wanted to talk a little bit about how she's growing her podcast or her business from her podcast. Maybe something we haven't discussed yet. Katie, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think that having my podcast, it changed my business. You know, I think that when you have a podcast, it allows you the opportunity to find out what it is that you're really passionate about. And for me, talking about social media all the time, I realized that I love social media, but I don't want to spend my life on it. And how could I be smarter with it? And it was because I had the podcast, I was talking about it all the time. And I realized, what if I could spend less time on it and just make more impact with fewer posts? And it's because, again, like I had my podcast, I talked about it all the time. And I think that when you're spending time on guesting on other people's shows or talking on your own show, it allows you to become clear with what your differentiator is.
Why do we need a differentiator?
I mean, I wish I could say I was the only social media production company in Colorado, not even the only social media company in this building. You know, there's two other ones in here, and it's only, 20 offices. I mean, everyone's going to find someone that they resonate with and that they like. And whether it's, I want to do business with Adam because we're both in Denver, or we met on Clubhouse 5 years ago, or whatever it is, there's going to be something that is going to draw you to working with someone else besides just the testimonials. There's going to be something. And like I said before, people want to do business with people. They want to know the story behind the brand, and having a podcast, it allows you to figure out what it is that makes you stand out from the crowd.
Yeah. And how about talk about monetizing? What's a piece of the strategy that helps you or your clients monetize, that even if it's something that we've talked about today, what's a piece of podcasting that helps you make money?
I feel like I'm just kind of standing on my soapbox when it comes to looking at the data. But look at your data, see who's listening, see where they live. I mean, go on to Apple and Spotify and, beyond just the RSS feed and however you host your podcast. Really look to see who's listening. How long are they listening? And when you know more about your audience, it makes you much more sellable. I can say, I know exactly who's listening. And if one person buys this sponsor's product, you're going to pay for the sponsorship, in just one sale or whatever. And having that clear data of who's listening, and then the social proof. I think, for me, I have a good sized social media audience. It's not, I'm, not Kim Kardashian, but I mean, across all the platforms, I think I have about 25-ish thousand people that follow me. Those are 25,000 additional people that know, like, and trust me, that I can then put the sponsor in front of, depending on the different packages. So look to see who you're talking to, and then don't discount social, and figure out a way that you can really grow and leverage and say, I talk to these people all the time. I get this kind of engagement. That's going to make it, more attractive to a sponsor.
Your business, Next Step Social, is your avatar, your perfect client for the business should be, or it sounds like, is the same as the person who listens to your podcast. I assume that's true. Let's just
Kinda.
verify it before I move on.
Well, really, it's the people that listen to my podcast, I found, are the people that are still DIYing it. They have a VA, they have someone that they can delegate some of the things that they learn on the show to. They're not quite at the space yet to invest in outsourcing it.
Okay, got it.
So it's kind of my early entry, my low ticket offer.
Do you, on your podcast, this is kind of where the question that I wanted to ask, and it's also for the listener, because if they have a show that is correlated with their business, hopefully they'll get something from this. So I do talk about my company a little bit on the podcast in order to get that listener to take steps toward growing what they need, which in a lot of cases means that they need to work with somebody that can support them. And I wanted to understand from you if that's part of your funnel, or are you afraid of, or do you suggest we don't ever mention that we have a business on our podcast?
I tell people, I think it's smart. When I don't have a sponsor, my business is the sponsor of the show. So, I give my mid-roll to my own business, or to like whatever offer it is that I'm trying to get. If I want more emails, then I give away my free content calendar. That's the content calendar is the sponsor of the show. So, this is your space. You choose. For me, it's worked great. I think that, unless we're Joe Rogan, we're any listener and any potential lead is, great. And so that's where, if you have the opportunity to tell them how they can go one step further with you, they're spending 30 minutes in their car with you. And they're probably a little, they probably know, like, and trust you.
Why wouldn't we have a sponsor for our show and be a sponsor of our show?
Totally.
So why wouldn't we have like 2 mid-rolls, for example?
Sure. Everyone's strategy is different. So, right now I have a pre-roll sponsor, but they have an exclusive. So I can't have a mid-roll sponsor. But at the end of every show, I say, if you're interested in talking about your social media strategy, you can get in touch with me here. But I don't have a dedicated ad spot.
I know that you've answered so much. I'm curious. And when I'm curious, sometimes that means the listener is as well. So you talk about at the end, you can get in touch. It's so funny because I already forgot my question. How embarrassing is that?
I was gonna say, sometimes, I'll mention it sometimes, in the middle of the episode too. Whenever you've done a great job of mentioning how people can get in touch with me, it's in the show notes. You did it at the beginning, you did it at the middle. I'm assuming you're probably gonna do it at the end. But for my show, I talk about it in the middle as well. Say I actually have this free content calendar. Be sure to check it in the show notes, and and then I just continue right on. So I think that I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about what your offer is, like you would, with a person. You're like, oh yeah, I actually have a free content calendar. If you want it, just let me know. So, yeah.
I like that. Good stuff. Katie, thank you. And I want to speak with the listener for a moment, because the next episode is going to be one that's also packed full of value. So you don't have to go anywhere. I will see you on the next episode. You're not alone if you're ready to either get your very first affordable microphone, or if you're ready to upgrade your equipment to some legit podcasting studio equipment. Because on all of the forums over the last few months, I'm seeing this all the time. Even my own personal clients that work with my team, they're ready to get that next microphone. They're asking us for it. Additionally, when I'm on discovery calls with potential clients, they're always asking for this stuff. Hey, what mic do you recommend? Hey, what lighting do you recommend? What webcam should I be using? So many questions. And so what we did, my whole team has put together a PDF so that if you're one of those people who is looking to either get your very first affordable microphone, or if you're ready to upgrade your equipment to more professional podcast studio equipment, whether it's soundproofing or whatever, we've got you covered by going to growyourshow.com/PDF.
and you can download the PDF for free. Or right there on the webpage is everything that you would have and you don't need to download the PDF. Either way, just go to growyourshow.com/PDF, which will put you to the podcasting equipment that me and my team have personally vetted. I'll see you on the next episode.